All right. So my leaders are just hopping on right now, Jen, and I was so excited that you agreed to do a little training for us because some of them have worked with me from a previous company. We've got exposure to John stuff, we got exposure to Marina stuff, and you understand a little bit better in Canada the business, but you also are the first Canadian to go platinum or elite, no, elite black one, and you're also platinum black something.
I was Platinum Black one. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. So Jen has the systems, okay? And so the first time I saw Jen, she was speaking on stage as representation for Canada at the first SRC I went to with Mariska. And I remember walking to that room and I just like felt so out of place, like so out of place because we come from another company. I was like, nobody here knows us. Like I've got something, I really felt like I had something to prove, you know?
Mhm.
And Jen stood up on stage and started talking and I was like, she's my person. She's my person. It's going to be okay. We've got support. It's going to be fine. And I reached out to her shortly after that and we started talking. And the beautiful thing about being here is how collaborative the leadership is and how open to sharing like the things that are working, the things that aren't. I know that there are some of you that really, really, really like systems and putting that into place. And that is not the best expertise for me. I'm a doer and I'm a bulldozer and then I fix it later. Right. And so for those of you that really like systems, I wanted Jen to be here and to kind of share with her or share with you guys what she's doing on her team that allowed her to scale. We all have seen elites pop out of her organization in the last year very quickly. Director ones are popping like popcorn, her words, which I love.
Yeah.
Right. And so how did she get there? What is she doing to scale? What kind of system is she using? And so I wanted to expose you to the stuff that she does a little bit differently than us so that we can come up with a plan for our team and we can pick the best of everything. That's how I like to work. Pick the best idea.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be my idea. It doesn't need to be your idea. It can be somebody else's idea. And so that's why we got Jen here today.
I love it. I love it. And you guys, just so you know, when she came to Modere, because I've been part of Rank Makers for quite a while, and I was like, I know her, and I just watched her on stage at Rank Makers Live, and so that was really cool. I was like, dang, we're attracting some good people here. It's a good validation when leaders come right from other companies. You're like, okay, yes. So hi, you guys, and I'm super excited to do this. So systems are like my love language. And why is because I am also a red bulldozer and I will just do it. And early on, so I've been in this industry for 13 years. And I actually have a background. I used to own traditional storefront businesses before that. But I learned early on, and I remember it was with one particular person who was a green. And greens and reds, it's like your aliens talking to each other, right? And I remember we were having this conversation, and I was saying, like, it was basically, this is what you got to go do. And she's like, but I need you to explain that to me. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, I just
did.
So I was like, yeah, you just go do this. And it was seriously like, this is back in party plan. It was probably like, go book 4 parties and go hold them. And she needed the details, right? And it was like we were talking a different language to each other. And so I realized then that reds are really good at coaching other reds. And the person that brought me into the business, her name is Christine Sales. She's actually on my team now. She's red. So that's how I learned. I was just, I remember I started, I'm like, okay, I just want to do it fast. What's the fastest way? And this is actually a funny story. I don't think anyone knows this. She back then, 13 years ago, she just gave me her password to her back office. And so my entire business plan, you guys, when I started in that company, I went to her. She was a year ahead of me. So I went to her month 1. And if she recruited 3 people, I'd get 4. If she sold X amount, I would get more. Because in my brain, my red brain, if I did equal or more, I would do what she did. And it worked. So anyway, it's always so funny that she trusted me to give her back office login. Like, oh my gosh. So anyway, that
you can get to the same result in different ways.
Yeah. And so, I mean, again, a red coaching a red, that's all fine and dandy. I just had to see what she did and I'd go figure it out. But a green would have never, ever, ever done that. And so that was kind of my first, realization of me coaching a green, that you need to have systems in place, and systems are color independent, right? It doesn't matter who you are. And also, if you ever want to duplicate yourself, You can't if you just are like, yeah, just go do it. Right? It just doesn't work. So I started with systems in my old company and was very big on that. And when we closed in 2017, summer 2017, overnight, you guys, it was like overnight. When we came to Modere, it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. Like there was no systems in place. I think they had ATM. And my upline that I fell into, because I didn't know them, actually coached us not to put people in the public groups. Like we had it was awful. And obviously it's not Sarah and Tony in my upline now, like a bunch of them left in between. So we were coached not to do ATM, not to put people in the groups. And so we were just like winging it and trying to figure out our own systems when we started. And so we had success early, like we hit E3 very like in a month because of desperation. But once that started phasing out, I was like, oh, systems, like we need systems and we need systems fast. Right. So that's kind of our journey. And that's when we really started doing things. And then every year I just keep perfecting it and perfecting it and perfecting it. So the big thing I'll tell you guys is it'll take like our getting started system. It's so funny because in 2020, so I implemented our getting started in the end of 2018. And I'll kind of show you what we do. And I remember Eric Worre is a big systems guy, and he's always coached. It's going to take you probably 12 to 18 months for everyone to completely buy in. So the fact that you guys can do this as a leadership group is everything. Because if you can buy in together to get your teams to buy in, it'll go so much faster. So we had that, but I only had at the beginning of 2020, I had 4 elites. Now I have 12. So that's how many elites came in 2020. It was crazy.
Wow.
But we had 4, and some of them hadn't really even bought into our getting started system. So COVID for us was really good because it basically forced everyone to kind of dial in and just focus and do the same thing. And so that's when we really started to see it. But also 2019 for us was just implementing systems. That was my year. I was like, I'm gonna get every freaking system. Like I want a customer onboarding, I want everything dialed in. Then 2020, what happened was when things start going fast, if you don't have systems in place, you're just gonna be sucked into time, right? So also I remember Eric saying to me, I did a Beyond Leadership thing with us, and this is like 2 years ago now, and we were just kind of starting, but I think he could see that Modere was going to hit. And he's like, he basically just like, he's like, get your systems in place now, because if you have systems in when momentum hits, you will grow so much faster.
Yeah.
Right. So that to me was everything. And it is, you guys. So again, collectively, if you guys can implement, and you have, I mean, John and Marina are freaking amazing. So you have their stuff. So even if it's just tweaking it and implementing or driving it, right, that's going to be everything. So, so some of the big sort of things that I identified in our business that we were lacking was a getting started system. Because again, when we started, there was nothing, and our upline didn't even teach ATM. So that was huge for us. So our getting started system, and Eric also, one of the things he always coaches is paper and like, and it's true. Like, again, I'm a red, I don't need a piece of paper, but every other, they love it. So everything that you do should be able to be kind of on a document and then systemized elsewhere. So we do, so getting started, basically when someone starts with us, what we've duplicated to make it easy, because what was happening is I was doing all the freaking getting starteds and it's just exhausting, right? So we wanted to empower like even our team leaders. Like I got some team leaders who can do their own getting started now with the tools, right? So they still bring us in and chats and stuff, but it's actually the time and all of that. So our getting started system is basically within minutes, we're getting them booked on a Zoom with us, right? And that's that first Zoom. It is them with maybe 1 leader or 2, depending on your time. Again, I only do my personals, and I pick up right now, like the floaters, like the people that don't have a good leader. I pick up those ones, but every single D1 does their own, every single, usually senior team leader, we're trying to empower them at team leader to just follow the slides kind of thing. So basically we get them going they're in our group, they're plugged into our units, which unit 1 through 4 is, getting started, then the kind of launch before it lands, the key things. And I can just share too and show you guys.
Sure, you can actually, if you want, you can share your screen too. I
Sure.
made you co-host.
I'll put you in that. But then we get them on an actual Zoom, right? And it's 45 minutes getting started Zoom. It's all systemized. So we've basically went ahead and kind of done the slides, and they get changed up lots. So that I'll pull our group up. Oops, shoot, I don't want that. There we go. Come on, let's get back to it. Okay, just a sec. I'm stuck.
It never cooperates when you want it to.
No. Okay. So here's our group. So again, it's key. Why Facebook changed the name of units just kills me. I hate it, but they like to mess around. So basically that when someone is brand new, the key is getting them into the group. We're getting them started on our units, and unit 1 is all getting started. So essentially there's these posts, we work them through. And so we're saying, okay, we're going to book your getting started. And we like to do that within 48 hours. But until then, you're going to start working your way through these units. And the first one is me and doing a live video, which again is similar to what John and Nadia, and I'm sure Marina, where it's just telling them what they need to do to go fast and to like the key things, right? So that if they have a leader who's not doing this stuff, they have a backup. So it's like, click here, do this, download the app, do your getting started Zoom with your sponsor, la, 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 la. And then I kind of go through all this. So if no one was helping them, they would have this at the bare minimum. So that's also something I was like, okay, I got to make sure that everyone has something. So then here's the apps that we use, how they're qualified for commission. I started this. So this is basically, I was going to do this.
Is this what you go over when you plan that Zoom within 48 hours of them getting started? Is this what you go over, or do you go over something
different? Basically this is in slide format in our Zoom.
Okay.
So that if someone doesn't have the skill set, all they have to do is use the tools, right?
Right.
So this is my getting started roadmap, where we have basically we say there's the fast or the slow. So the slow model, the slow path would be going bronze, senior consultant. So this is an Eric thing. Everything needs to be on one piece of paper. So basically they're going to make their list, and we're going to give them the basic script. We're going to get them doing their curiosity post with the basic script. Again, we have a whole unit on this as well, but this is the basics. And then we teach them ATM, 3-way messenger in the app, and then getting them using their product. So that's if they want to make $200 a month, something like that. Then we have the fast, which is you need to go silver team leader. So we talk about that. We talk about getting into groups, building relationships, getting referral posts up. So it's basically like level 1 activity is this stuff. Everyone can do that. Everyone. Level 2 activity, they're going to do that, but they're also going to do this stuff. So we really get them doing referral posts, watch parties. Those are going away, so I'm going to have to change my stupid sheet.
You know what I love though too, Jen, is you do this in your packs. Like you have good, best, and better,
Yes.
or good, better, best, right? And so you kind of do the same thing in your onboarding, and here's good and here's better.
Yeah, you can go slow, because again, not everyone is like, no one's like us, right? So I have a huge team who are happy here, and I love them, and I want lots of them. And I mean, that's the majority of your marketers coming in. Like, how many percent of your team is going to be a big income earner? So we really try and love them where they're at. And again, getting them doing this stuff over and over and over again. So then the fast path is obviously they're going to earn both fast track cash and whatever the reward is. So teaching them, this is an extra thing. Like you're going to go live, you're going to share your story. And then we coach them on this. You're going to go live and share in real life. And again, the world's a little different now, but as much as they can. So that's like an example of just one thing that is in our getting started. Then of course, getting their spoon post up with examples, verbiage, so that if they had zero coaching, it's there. So they just have to walk their way through. So this is something Marina, you said Marina does. This is Legacy. This is Sarah and Tony and Justin. They actually do like set posts. So I offer that. If they just want to follow that, they can follow that. Here's my checklist. So this is their checklist, again, to make sure that they've done all the things they need to do. If I should download it, I probably have it saved somewhere, but I'll just do this. So again, the checklist is just a backup that we get them to download. It won't come up, but basically this is, and we coach the leaders to follow this while they're doing their Zoom. So their very first Zoom. So up here is key. How much money do they want to make? How much time do they want to invest? Because if you don't know that, you can't coach them. We ask them again, do you want to go fast? Then we're going to show them the money and let them know why they want to go fast. And then again, you would add fast track on top of this. I don't put it on ours because we have US and Canada. Gives them their support team, tells them exactly what they need to do before their kit even ships. Here's your to-do list. So it's just, again, one more backup. And then here's your first day reminder. Page 2 is their list. Again, their warm market right off the get-go, how to get plugged into all our different things, and 3 suggestions on some personal development. So again, this is a paper version of getting started, which the whole idea with this is that the leaders can then feel confident to coach with it, right? They're not having to like freak out and worry that they don't have the tools or the confidence. I actually did a bot. God, that took a long time in my life. So getting started bot, where again, it's just one more way. Like for me as the leader, I just try and think of like every way that I can reach every marketer on my team, even if they had a terrible enroller. Yeah. So the bot, exactly what we just did with a bot. We give them some basic scripts that they can modify. We get them to make their hot list, memory jogger to make their list. Here's ATM. Here's how to do 3-way chats and how to introduce them properly and not be awful about it. Here's how you earn your experience. Here's our DMO. And here's the FAQ and getting connected. So basically, like all of those things are in there that they just have to get going, right? So unit 2 is about launching your business. And we have John Melton, because he did a great, like, again, I repurpose whatever I can. John did a wicked thing about launching and relaunching. So that's in our unit, right? I think we might have you as an unboxing. Do we have you? I know I have one.
You might.
For real, I might. I got to go in here. It was an unboxing video. It was one of your, like, you were, oh no, but I think she's anyway.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you are there. So again, if I see a great unboxing, I don't need to go recreate the wheel. I just utilize that tool, right, you guys? And because it's public, you can do that. So, I do a couple examples of that. Then we get into our again, we're big sellers. So our whole unit is on selling. This is a system we just implemented. Every 3rd Sunday of the month, I get my Platinum Blacks to teach on selling. And they just get in there and they teach. Oops, I'm too far down. I hate how it does this in the units. It won't pull you up exactly. Oh, selling. Okay, so so we do that. I did a big selling Zoom. So we teach them how to sell. So this is the unit. We teach them how to sell. We teach them time saver things like text replacement, project broadcast. Here's some scripts. Here's some more tips, blah, 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 right? So that if they did nothing else but just went through the units, they're going to learn all of that. Number 4 is all referral posts. So basically we say unit 1 through 4 is key, and then we'll get on the Zoom. Okay, so the Zoom is essentially exactly what we just went through in unit 1 in a slide format, you guys. I actually take the getting started, and that's half of it is one slide, then the second slide. So all you do is walk through that, and your leader, actually, ideally your leaders are going to be walking through that with their new marketers. And then I'll say, like, okay, because you don't want to be completely removed, but like, tell me their goals. Like, what are their goals? How much money do they want to make? How much time? Because then I can relate to them a little bit more. So that's our getting started system. And again, it is dialed in, but it took a year. Where now everyone, like, I feel that there's very few that slip through the cracks. And if they slip through the cracks and they don't get an actual Zoom, they have this stuff so that and again, you can always go back and kind of coach to it. So that's that.
Do you find taking the extra time, Jen, to do that Zoom really makes a massive difference in how fast they get started?
100%. I think 2 reasons. Number 1, and again, it is time, and time is valuable. So that's why in the beginning, the elites were doing, and then we're like, hell no.
Everyone's using everyone has to be responsible for their own.
So that's where creating those slides gives them the confidence to go and do it, and all of this. I do think it is because it's a personal connection. It almost like sets the tone that this is a business and not a little side thingy. And it lets you know if they're like, I want to make $200 a month. Okay, well, you're not going to spend all your time there. But if she says, and it gets you to their why also, right? So if she says, like I just had a girl came from our bond, not my personal, but I was working with her. And she's like, Jen, I want to like quit my job. I hate working. I want to quit my job and I want to do it in 6 months. I'm like, okay.
Here we
She has
go.
a very big why. If I didn't connect with her, I would never know that. And so that reason alone, but also like on there, I asked, like, again, we kind of go through different in our slides, we coach a bit, but I ask them like, okay. And I say to them on the Zoom, I say, okay, here's the deal, you guys, like, this is a business. It's not easy. If anyone promised you it's easy, it's not, but is it worthwhile? Heck yeah. And if you have, so then once we figure out their why and you have that, I say, I want you to give me 2 years. I want you to give me 2 years. And I usually will go back to my business past experience. Like most businesses, you make no money for the first 2 years. We're pretty lucky here that you actually can make money. Like truly, most businesses are in the freaking hole forever. So I say to them, I want you to give me 2 years. And I also ask them, like, how do you want feedback? Because some people, again, a red can talk to a red all day long. Like I could say to Christina, get off your ass and go do your thing. And she'd be like, okay, done. If I said that to a sweet yellow, they'd be crying in the corner. A green would be in full blown panic. So it also lets you know how to kind of talk to them and how, to coach basically. So it just gives you, I don't know. And I think 45 minutes of your time to have all of that is everything, like truly. And I'll tell you, results on our team have also shown when we go back and kind of look at pockets of our organization who maybe aren't getting started strong, it's because they're just putting them in a unit and hoping they're going to do it all. Now, I'll also say we kind of handhold for the first 90 days till, to get them doing it. Cause they're not going to remember everything ever. So we kind of handhold them in the chats and give them assignments every day. Big on assignments. But when I look at my overall team, cause I still have some, like not everyone buys in, right? That's the way it is. When I look at my overall team, I have some really great recruiters who their people aren't going. And it's because they're not doing the getting started. They're basically, what they're doing is they're giving them the legacy texts, which are awesome. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But there's more to just putting a post on social media every day. And we know that, right? So the ones that are only doing that aren't having as much conversion. I like it again as a tool. Like you said, Marina has hers. I think it is a freaking awesome tool. And I'm so glad that Justin and Sarah and Tony did it because I use it, but it's not the only tool. And I think that that's one piece of it. And again, if you don't know the rest of it, so when I step back and look, the ones that aren't doing true getting started aren't duplicating. And duplication is everything.
Right. And so another thing that you do that's really interesting is you throw VIP launch parties.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that's part of so in our basic slides of the getting started, it's like, okay, and now we're going to pick a day and you're going to do your VIP party. So what can I show you? So basically, again, you guys, I'll just give you like a quick overview with those. I might them in my units. So my girl, Nicole, just did some new slides. So I'll use hers. So with this, we try to systemize this. Because again, if you tell someone brand new, they got to go on Zoom and host a VIP party for their new marketer, they're going to die. Like they will literally die. So with this launch party, we've been, oh gosh, we started them probably last January. And they did a little of this and then COVID hit and they went, which was awesome. So the timing was great. But now we've put it as part of our system because again, they can go and do all those really great posts, but they still might not get conversion. But if you can get their friends and family on a freaking Zoom with you and them, then they will get conversion. So she has it in here. I'll just have to scroll for a sec to find it. But basically all we do is that's part of the getting started. So now you're gonna get your spoon post up and let's book a date for your party, your launch party, your whatever you wanna call it. So that is Spring Fling. We do, if that was our last event we just did, which I can show you. And I don't think I have them saved on this is my new laptop and I don't, and you don't have all your stuff saved yet.
Yeah.
So I just got to find them. But with some of the challenges and stuff we do.
So it's like an online party that you're running for them. It's all the same, like it's the exact same slides, everything. They just basically have to share the slides and read them.
Okay, exactly. Here's her launch party. Okay, so again, this is part of that anyone on the team can go and download these slides, adjust them, do what they want. So all it is getting their friends and family on a freaking party with you. And all you do is play a game. We switch that up every so often. You talk about the product. You talk about our best products. You talk about collagen. You talk about why it's so good. And again, you're asking for an engagement and stuff in the comments, right? Oh, here's a little trivia game. Just like think parties. Again, remember we came from parties. So we're like, okay, this is great. Inside out, some testimonials, some pictures. We talk lean body. We talk lip plumper. You guys, like, this is it. Then we close with, oh, some sets, right? Some good, better, best, maybe some other sets, like whatever kind of thing we're doing. She should have good, better, best on here, but she might not. And we talk about kits at the end. Talk a little bit about culture, why we love this, why our company's so great, typical party close. And then at the end, all of their friends, like, how can I support her new journey? Well, you could do a spoon post. We're going to get you so again, our goal is getting a sale or a referral post up, right? Or them joining. So that's a launch party. Again, don't overthink it like that. The simpler, the better. I try and keep them to 45 minutes. And we just share, and these are all our people, like that actually this lady's not ours, but that's Fran, me and Vic. We try and share our own results in these photos. And if the marketer has results, we pop her pictures in here, but that's a launch party. So we want, basically they're doing their spoon posts, they're doing all the set posts, doing all the things, but we want them doing a launch because usually we can get them at least to bronze, right? If not to silver with the launch. So that's something we've systemized. So it would be our getting started completely right there. And again, it might take you a bit, but if you do it overall as a team and then you just drive it out. So when we started kind of doing to get the lower level leaders to do this, we would always do it with a challenge because they'll go out of the comfort zone if they can win something. So everything was challenge oriented. So we did a challenge. So this month, because we had the double share your love. So we did a spring fling event in our customer party or our customer group. And with that, what we did is we did a traditional Facebook party, where you just post. And anyway, Frick, I can't find it. God, I need to clean up my announcements. Apparently I got things there. Oh, here, so this is what we did. So 1 hour. So we did the spring fling where the people in our group could invite their customers. So there was 2 methods to this one. And we've done this. We did this in November as well. So number 1, get your customers in there. We'll sell to them. Number 2, your ultimate goal is to get hostesses to book parties with you. And then we took every single graphic that we did and put it in the group. So all they have to do is basically do exactly what we just did and book their own. Then we did a challenge. So then I threw out a challenge. If they got referral posts up or booked parties, they got points into gifts from me. So again, that's that duplication thing. You could just, and we all are doing these. Like I know Marina does these and you guys do these. So we're all doing these, but the next step to the duplication is saying, okay, now you guys go do it. Take what we did, take exactly what we said and throw in a challenge in there, and then they're doing it. And so we have like a ton of parties going on this week, right? Some are Zoom, some are Facebook, whatever, but we've given them the tools so they're not scared, and we've given them a reward for doing it. So it pushes them out of their comfort zone at the same time.
And so what about those people that are worried about inviting their friends and their family to something, like they're worried about a party, or like, oh, I don't want to spam my friends and family with stuff?
Yeah, we usually give them some scripts, like some easy scripts, like that are fun. And then again, we always try and do the what's in it for them, right? You're going to get credits. So when we do those parties though, like if you have a hostess, we actually run it as an old school, like one person gets to invite all of her friends and then she's getting all the share the loves when they order, right? So we're setting up her customer account and everyone else goes under her. So she's getting a ton of free stuff as you're doing it. Yeah. And I mean, it's good, you guys. Like why we can build big pods on my team is we're really good. We're good at selling. We're good at bundling. But we also use things like this because it still works. Like it's kind of like email. Like we were talking this morning. Email still works. Like don't throw everything. Yeah, we're online and we got ATM and we got all of that. But this still works, and it works very well. Like if you can take someone brand new with our launch party and get them 5 new customers, you gave them that win they need right away. And then you just got to keep them in the game, right? So it's huge to be able to do this. So we'll usually do like a team one. And again, I don't do it all by myself. It's truly a team effort. So I love that you guys are looking at this together, because not one of you could do this effectively. It is
By yourself.
a ton of work. But once you get it, like we all kind of have our roles now, right? Like Nicole is really good at she loves she's just more techie. Dan, I have an assistant that makes us the graphics, because heck, that is not my skill set whatsoever. We have other ones that are really good at getting on, and like they're so good in person, so that's their role. You have other ones that are good at driving it. Like you just kind of figure out your role in that. Okay, you guys wanted me to talk fire starters, hey?
I really want you to talk about fire starters. Yeah.
Fire starters was insane. So I'll give you perspective. My team we can sell our freaking faces off. Like you guys, in November, we'll triple our volume easily, sometimes more than triple. Like it's just pure insanity what happens. I think like we had like a $800,000 day or something in November. Like it's pure insanity. And every year I'm like, this is not going to happen. And it does. So we're really good at selling. Okay. Recruiting was always really, really tough. So 2020 for us, and I think again, a lot of us came from that party background. They're used to having the party to recruit at, or recruiting for a discount, right? We don't have that here. So we had to really wrap our brains around it and do some other things. So 2020, I focused on recruiting big time. So like every challenge was sometimes just an activity challenge to get them having conversations, right? Like we really focused on that. And it started, and then
just give them an example of an activity challenge.
yeah. Okay. So maybe the challenge is go for 40 no's. Maybe the challenge is sending out, I love the little 2-minute why social retail as a teaser of just getting people to watch that, because then it's maybe to that next step of a real video or a Zoom. We try and get them on a Zoom or a call quicker than just another video. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's ATMing 10 people, because we know that the activity will lead to the results if they do it enough. But when you just say go recruit, they're not doing it.
Right.
So we did tons of activity, booking parties. We know, again, or getting guests on one of our parties. I know that if you get enough guests on there, I'll probably be able to help you convert. So last year was when we really started working on recruiting. Like that was my ultimate goal, because we know that duplicates. And Gab for us last year was the tipping point when our team didn't have to have structure to earn the money or the watch. They went nuts. So again, we were having our sellers earn it, and it gave them the confidence to kind of keep going. So I was really excited to see Gab back this year.
That's your global achiever bonus.
Oh yeah, yeah. So good. So that was our focus. So everything we did in all of 2020 was really focused on trying to build. So a couple of things that I implemented in 2021 was a core rank academy, for lack of a better word. So it's called Achievement Academy. So they have to be silver and recruit 1. We don't make them hit core rank with 3, but we're like, dude, if you can get 1 recruit and hit silver, you get access to the academy. So the academy is separate to our group. So this is the first thing that we did. We did this last March, I think. So I've took 265 of my team in there. So they have to earn it. It's earned. Then once they're in there, they get coaching every single week, Tuesday morning, from a top leader, right? And like this week was Christine, and she really coached on how to maximize the double share the love. I coached 10 and 3 last week. So it's more leadership level stuff, but they're the only ones that get to see it. I'll bring in a guest speaker in here. Like they'll get to hear from Rick Teague or something, someone sort of special. We brought Justin in, so they get it. We do special things in there. So this is like basically trying to close that leadership gap, where we're teaching them, like this is all future D1s. And this is when I was saying we're popping lots of D1s. It's all from this group. So our hot shots is the whole group. Then we have the Achievement Academy that they earn. Okay, so this has been going on, it'll be it is a year now, which is really cool. And it's probably one of the best things that I did. But then January. It was in January. And you know, it's like January is always slow to start. And everyone was doing so much freaking personal development in January. Like my teams were on everything listening. And I'm like, no one's working. We're all just consuming and no one's working. So then I was like, okay, we need to drive recruiting. So we launched, it was actually Christine and I really, so she's the one that recruited me in my old company and we work very well together. She left, just background on her, she left, she was with Sun Life Financial making 150 plus a year and left probably right when you came, Christine. She came November of 2019.
Yep.
Right after, she just missed Black Friday. Like when she came in, it was so bad. But she left her corporate secure 150 plus a year because there was a ceiling. And as a female in that industry, they got barely anything. So anyway, just a side note, because I think it's cool. So Firestarter. So we were like, okay, what can we do that's a focus group that gets people's attention?
Just before you move on to Firestarter, how do they achieve how do they get into earn the Achievement Academy? How do you keep people in there?
Silver and one recruit, and we don't pull them out ever.
Silver, so they have to basically be a senior consultant.
Yeah, or at least the idea was recruited. I mean, they may not have hit senior consultant, but at least they've had like, so again, our team can hit silver fast, but it's the recruit. So this has been good because it's getting them to recruit one to get in the door. Yeah. So we tried not to make it too complex, but at least they're in the door. Okay, so then again, we were this year, everyone's all doing all their personal development and business was kind of quiet. And we thought, okay, now's the time to really start something. So we took, we had this idea where we wanted buy-in. And this was, now Firestarters is hands down. I'll pull it up. Hands down in 13 years. It's been my favorite freaking thing that we've planned and launched, promoted it. Like it was killer, you guys. Okay. So look at 376 people. Now remember, I have about 1,000, maybe 1,100 active social marketers right now. So look at that buy-in.
That's awesome. That is a very high number.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
So Firestarters launched January 15th and it was a 30-day run is what it was, but we promoted it. So before we did it, we promoted it, and how they got in Firestarters, it wasn't earned. They had to give us $30. Why $30? Skin in the game. Skin in the game. Because we know that when there's skin in the game, if you pay, you show up. So this was a 30-day focus group, which we've done these before. Oh, there's a spelling error on that. Let's just I'm not good at proofing. Okay, look at Sweet. I'm going to share her story. Sweet Ruby. Oh my gosh, you guys. She's 74. She joined
I love her.
December. She's a D1. She joined in December. She had recruited a big fat 0 before Firestarters. In 1 month, she recruited 6 XMs. 74. Like, I was like, so she got herself a pair of AirPod Pros for that.
Oh, good for her.
She's like never had, oh, she's so freaking, isn't she the cutest? Oh.
I have a 77-year-old who just started, so I got to get her to follow. What's Ruby's last name?
She was doing Ray's 14-day challenge, and you know where he does the be an expert on things you don't know about. She was shaving. I just about peed my pants laughing. I was like, look at her go. I was so proud.
I love her. Sorry, what's her last name?
Matsko. She's so freaking cute. Way up north, British Columbia. She gets up at 5 a.m. and works her business, goes to work still. Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing.
Okay, so Firestarters, we were like, we need their attention for a month and we're going to just talk recruiting. So we basically took Eric Worre's 20 and 30 and duplicated it. Which is like high level scary, and no lie, you guys, the very first launch I did with these guys. So we promoted it to the whole group and we did so much FOMO, like inside out, the whole thing. Like, you want to be part of this. If you want to learn how to recruit, get in. We had 300 people right off the get-go give us their money, and we had a hard cutoff, which also, this was really hard for me because I always am like a little lax on this stuff. We had a hard cutoff where if you don't give us your money, I don't care if you're a freaking elite, you're not getting in. And that was good. And there was a ton that were playing that game and they didn't get in, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, it was a hard cutoff. So now we're doing, anyway, I'll talk about the next one. So this focus group, 30 days, hardcore, they got coaching twice a week it was Christine and I, because we'd both done 20 and 30. And basically like we raised the bar high and we pushed them. But what we did was all of that money that we got went back into prizes. So this was, and I actually, when we started this, the money honestly was just for skin in the game and we were going to use it for prizes, but I had no concept of how many people would do this. So we had $9,000 for prizes, and we used it for enrollment, you guys, enrollment reimbursement. Like, it was insane.
That's so smart. Just wait a second. Like that, just that alone is so smart, to take that money and then use it for enrollment promotion that you made.
We don't want the money. Yeah, we don't want the money. We wanted to give it back to them. But so this is what happened. And then we did a ton of inside out with the rest of the team. So every single person that was in Firestarters, when we do team trainings every Saturday, they have a little flame by their name. So when we do recognition, there's flames everywhere. So we've like planted this seed. The very first one was me, like basically telling them, get ready, clear your schedule, tell your family, like getting them to go all in for 30 days and what it could do to your business. So then we would do, one of the challenges was just learning them, sharing their story. And again, I can't tell, I never thought that was a roadblock. That was the hugest. We had, and when I did a challenge, that was like week 2 or week 1, whatever. But the challenge was, if they did that, they got one of Ray's script books, the black or the purple one.
Yep. They're so good.
I know, I love them. We had 85 people who shared their story out of the 300. Some didn't, but I probably had another like 50 who did it at least at some point in the month. So these are people who had never even shared their freaking story, and now they're sharing their story. Well, guess what happens when they're sharing their story? There are people who are attracted to that. Like, the results started happening. So we would do, oh, here, let me go to the announcements because I think I put most of it there. So we would coach them. We would give them an assignment and they'd have to do it by the next thing. Right? We did tons of recognition. This was our finale. I gave away a ton of crap on our finale. We did a bunch of awards. So we would like highlight them, right? Here's, again, this was one whole session was about handling objections. So we talked to them about that. And then they always had an assignment, every single thing. This was about limiting beliefs, you know, so then their takeaways. So this focus group was pretty cool. Like, I actually love this. You know, Christine did the story one.
There's so much that you could do in a month. And so you're doing 2 trainings a week and then with homework. I'm running a blitz like that right now that they had to earn to get in, but I also like the fact that you pay, like you had them pay and used it as prizes and reimbursement. I think that's really smart.
Okay, the money, you guys, when I did the math, I'm like, we had $9,000. So then we would do so prizes for different things. And again, little challenges like sharing your story. They got something. So they were getting rewarded. But then we'd be, okay, guys, free enrollment for the first 30 people that can bring in an XM. And they were like, it's a free enrollment. And then they're in the other team chats. Is that free enrollment still going on? I'm like, if you're part of Firestarters, it is. So we created massive inside out, right?
Smart.
Let's get that down. Okay. So I'm just trying to think again. So coach them again, whatever you want. They got their own little things that we would give them, their own little, like whatever it was, you know what I mean? We got tons of recognition. So that was the Firestarters, and we did it for 30 days. And no lie, you guys. So then we basically, every recruiter, even if they recruited with a basic, we sent them a gift. So my mom mailed out all those gifts. Thank God, because there's no way I could have. I did a handwritten card for all of them though, but like it took her, like I just sent out the last batch a week ago and we ended February 15th. Like, it was nuts. So I think we had like 100 people recruit that had never recruited. Lots of these people, you guys. So now we're doing Firestarters 3.0. So we're going to do 90 days. So we did the 2 and crossed it out. Like, so we're doing a big thing. We just launched it with the team last night. It's all about, I got to tell you, it's all about how you promote it, hands down. And then we're like, okay, this is different. We have to do something different. Let me get back to the discussion. So Firestarters 3.0 is coming out. You know, we make a big deal about it. I went live with the team last night. I had a bunch of people give me their testimonials in the chats, everything. And this time, because it's 90 days, we're like, it has to be different. So we're going to follow the Insanity Bootcamp by Rory, which again, I'm all about, like, Ray has stuff, he has stuff. Like, I'm all about, I don't want to, like, and you can add your own.
You don't need to make it up. You just,
just
use other content.
And so this time we're doing $35 for the base rate, or 49 was swag, and we designed a hat that's white camo with a freaking flame, and it's so freaking cute, and fire starters on the back. Every single person did the 49. And I
Wow.
did it live with my team. Like all I did is live last night. During my live, my email's going off and they're sending me money. Like it was nuts. And they're like, I'm in, I sent you my money, I sent my money. So if you decide to do something like this, the promotion is everything. And now, like if you, in all of our team chats, hopefully I don't pull up anything inappropriate, but they're like, oh, look at, there's Christina. They're doing Firestarter, like all of our team. This is not mine. This is another elite. They're doing polls. They're doing all they're driving it. So that's duplicating, right? In every single team chat that I have, they're driving this. And that's our focus right now, is loading this up. We're starting April 1st. But our results, so in Firestarters in 1 month, we brought in 200 recruits from that group alone, which in January on my team, that'd be normal. Like
100 recruits though in that 1 month just from running this. And here's what I like, Jen, is that you get way more accomplished when you work as a team, right? Like instead of everybody trying to do their individual stuff, come together and like drive everyone to the same thing, and we're all plugging it, we're all working, you know what I mean? And then it's not as hard because you take on 1 training a week, or you're not doing 6 trainings in a month.
Yeah, there's 5 of us that are going to do the trainings for round 2. So yeah, I train once every 5 weeks. I mean, I might go in a little bit more. And again, like, so one thing our team has done really well, and this is just part of our culture. So we're all the hot shots. It's our whole identity kind of thing. But my elites, like, again, these are all my elite chats over here. They're all freaking strong. Like they all could be a black on their own. But rather than them trying to go recreate the wheel, we do everything as a big group, and then they might do their own. We do happy hours. That's another thing we do. So they might do their own happy hours with their team. They might do their own collagen things or spring flings, but they buy into the overall thing. We drive the overall thing, and then you sort of get your thing. Like Paulette, that's her team one. So she does happy hours, and they're doing a collagen one on Sunday. So again, that's for her little mini team. We do, so at any time, you guys, and again, that's something that we've systemized. So we started it, now everyone's doing it. And at any week, we'll sometimes have like 30 happy hours going on. And I'm not doing them all. Like she's not doing them all. Then she's systemizing them within her team. But it's something that we've kind of ran with. Like that's her chat. Just thinking.
Well, and I think right now, because we came in from another company and we were kind of plugged into Marina's stuff, plugged into John's stuff, there's all of these things going on. But what I would really like to do is like link arms as leadership and do it together with our team. I think that that's where we're missing the mark right now. And granted, that was on purpose. We do have great systems. We can borrow some of the stuff from here, from Marina's, from whatever, and figure out our system. But Jen does it a little bit different with the VIP launch parties. I'd love for you to really quickly talk about your happy hours, because I think those are brilliant. And it's all the idea of like having online parties, but it's not, we're having an online party, right? Like it's not like that, the way that you do a happy hour.
Like this is, so Paulette's, she's an E2, soon to be E3. So they theme them. So our happy hours, she's got hers down to 30 minutes and they're themed. So I was a guest on hers last night because gut health, and she wanted me to share my story with the tree biotic. I jumped on for 5 minutes, shared, they had all these customers on, and they basically just talked gut health on their happy hour. Short, sweet, slides, results, why you want it, some education, and then, hey, here's some things. If you're interested, great, kind of thing. And they hook back to their marketer. So happy hours are just, again, it's just another way. Like I look at it almost as like a live. Like, you might do a live on gut health, but you're only reaching your audience. If you can do a happy hour and get your team all on there with you, now you're reaching all their audiences, and you also get them helping you and speaking. So, her D2 led most of that last night because she's actually really good with gut health. So that, again, it's once you can get it going, and even if you provide the framework, and then your stronger leaders are going to start stepping up and doing this and what happens is they speak on a few, and then they get the confidence, like, oh, I could probably do my own. Like I have a brand new D2, brand new. And she's like, you know what? I think I want to do my own happy hours. I'm like, yay.
We love people like you that are go-getters. Hey, and when you're doing that, these happy hours, are you doing them privately on a Zoom? Are you doing them publicly?
Happy hours are always on a Zoom because you can chat a little. Again, it's like it's like being at a party where when you're public, you don't know who's attending, what's going on.
So you're not streaming live onto Facebook or anything?
No. Some of them, if they've got their own customer group as a team, they'll do that. And like we'll do in our big team customer group, we will do that kind of as well. Not all the time though. I kind of save those because I find if you do them too much, the people just tune them out. But the Zoom, they invite them, they teach how to invite, they get them on. Like last night, she had, I think, 20 guests on that little happy hour for half an hour. Right. And so short, people are willing to do it. And this is also something we've changed up. Last year, we did the same format. Like we would talk kind of our hero products all the time. Well, people get bored. So now we're theming them. Anya, another lead of mine, they would do like themes where they dress up. Actually, Amber Duluth went on theirs and took their idea and did it with her team. But like they'd theme it up. So they dress up. Like, so on St. Patty's Day, they're all wearing green. Like, so they've themed them up that way and made them fun. Anything that you can kind of do to make it different than what's out there, right?
Yeah, like this is just another way for people to build their pods as opposed to referral posts and stories and all that kind of stuff. Like this is another tool that they can use.
Yes, and we still do, and I always say that. I'm like, do not let any of that go because ATM is the freaking bomb. Going live, all your stories, all the things you're doing, this is just one thing. And again, if you guys can do it as a group, so you're not having to do it every single week. And again, that is the key. I got to tell you, like, I think that's why I love, and I have Sarah and Tony and Justin. That's who I plug into. Okay, are you kidding me? They freaking rock. Like they're amazing, but we still have our own identity. Their group is much larger, and we still have our own team identity within that, but we still use their stuff. And anything that's good, I'm like, I'm not going to go redo that. I'll use theirs. So I love that. You guys have this amazing support system already. Now it's just you figuring out your little specifics, right?
Right. And how it's going to work for us or what, basically what our leadership is going to buy into and what they want to do. And that's why I wanted you guys to hear some different ideas from Jennifer, because you see what we've got going on with the other stuff. Does anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask questions.
Stop my share too. Where'd it go?
So I have one.
Yeah.
I like talking. I was just wondering with the host a party that you were talking about. I know that like coming in, it's like, oh, we don't do parties, but this is like a different way of doing it, right? Like it's bringing people in that are interested, rather like getting them set up for success right away, right off the shoot, and not necessarily doing them all the time. Is that kind of what?
Yeah, like I would love for us, again, I would love every new person to do their launch. And you can call it, like, don't even call it a party. Like call it whatever you want.
Like a launch? Like
launch.
Just call it a launch?
VIP launch.
Right. And we actually we give them a really cute graphic that they can share and that sort of thing. Yeah, call it just a launch. Like, hey, I'm super excited about this. And I would love you to hear about these amazing, whatever. Again, we try and coach them to share the story and do the thing, right? So they share their story. Then the thing is inviting them to come on tonight. It's going to be super easy, half hour, pop on in your jammies with a glass of wine and check it out.
And then would you have maybe your upline come on with?
You could, again, like I don't even anymore because we've dialed it in with the slides. So I would have, so Mary is brand new. Yes, her upline is doing this with her, if that's what you mean. But they don't need me. Like the upline might be senior team leader D1, but their confidence is there because we provided them with the tools.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I meant. So yeah.
Mary's not doing it alone because Mary would crap her pants if you asked her to do that. Right.
Yeah. And so it's easy for her to invite or like think of, you're giving her the memory jogger, you're giving her like all the ideas of who she can invite, the type of people that she can invite. And it's not a pressure thing. It's like, hey, check it out or not, whatever you want, right? Like it's not a big deal.
Sorry, can you offer like giving away a bottle of trim or something like that?
Yeah. So we typically don't do a big one, but I do like, how we can buy the 5 lip plumpers or the 5 eye things? That's what we do.
Okay.
So usually one of the slides will be a game. Where so the game reward might be, it's usually something easy. We're all Canadians. So you guys get it's always like go and coffee or something that you can mail for next to nothing. And then we'll do at the end for anyone that orders or joins with a minimum order of whatever you decide that is, they get into a draw for a lip plumper.
Love it. Okay.
And I usually take care of the lip plumper for my people that I'm launching, right? Just
You're
to help
personally
them out.
enrolled.
Yeah, because we can buy them, I just buy them at the 5 packs when it's on any sort of deal.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love it. I'm just
Anyone
looking
else have any questions?
Kate?
You know I'm going to have a question. I always have a question. So my last company that I went with, we did launch parties all of the time. They seem to be a little bit different to what you did. The only thing, and I think maybe I'm not understanding it properly. So for a new person, do they go and just message their whole, like their list, say? Is it like, what way is it the invite process? I think that's what I'm trying to get my head around.
We still try and get them to be personal, right? Like I find that they could do that, but it's typically not super effective. What company were you with? Who were you with before?
Juice Plus.
Oh, okay. I don't actually know how they do parties, but I know some people from there. So I just, how I coach them is, I always say, like, okay, once you've made your list, again, it's not a hit list, but it's a list to go freaking talk to these people, right? So go talk to them and start normal people conversations like you'd have in the grocery store. And typically you're like, hey, what's new in your world? Like, you back to work, you travel. Typically when you ask someone what's new, they ask you what's new. So then she could say, oh, it's super fun, whatever. And I just started this little side thing. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Then I get them to share their story. So whatever that is, and we do coach them on that. And then say, oh, hey, I'm having this super fun online thing. You can jump on in your underwear. Okay, this is how I talk right now.
Right.
Someone else may talk differently. How I say it though is like that. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this super fun online thing. You can come in your underwear and a glass of wine, sister, and let's have some fun and just jump on. And sometimes it might be like, oh, and I know it sounds like one of those things, but it's not. Trust you, this one will be fun, and you might even be able to win some stuff, kind of thing. Or, just do me a favor, come on, get on there. So that's how I would talk, depending on their level of comfortable and all of that, but at least to start those conversations and open the door, right? Where they're not just mass adding. Sometimes they'll put a little cute thing on their wall. And it's more powerful if their story is with it, because then usually people will relate to the story and then they're a little open to doing it. Or even if they comment, then I coach them to, start those conversations. But you're not like blasting it through Messenger, because it just usually won't be that effective. And even sometimes they're like, can I just put this on my wall? I'm like, you can. It probably isn't going to work, but you can,
So it's
Yeah, because that was the part.
Think of it this way, Kate. You reach out to the people that you have in your circle, right? Like, I know if I was sick, the 5 people that would bring me chicken soup, or the 5, if I need to be picked up at the bar and the taxis weren't coming, I know the 5 people I could call, right? And so those are the people that you reach out to and say, just start a conversation and just, how are you, blah, 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 right? What have you been up to? Well, they're going to ask you the same thing.
Yeah. And they're close people, like their family. I'm like, say, hey, I need you on here, and say, I want you to know what I'm doing. Like, I love you, and I want you to know a little bit more about it. Because a lot of times in those, there's a lot of family. But you know what? I will say, when the family, because the family's like, usually when the family comes on and they get to meet us or hear more and like actually hear some stories, and we do a lot of storytelling on our launches too, like all of those slides are stories, like we talk little product and a story. So the family tends to buy in a little bit more once they've been on it, and they're like, okay, this isn't one of those things. So I also find you just have a bit, like, some of the wives bring their husbands on, their mom and dad, their sister. So you sometimes get your first few customers in your very warm market, but they also are buying into it and okay with it, which when they just see stuff online, but storytelling is everything on those, like, share some stories.
I love that idea, because I was totally anti the whole launch thing, but I think that it was because it was me. It was me all the time. They weren't launching. It was me doing it. It wasn't duplicating. I would speak very much like you, whereas I could be talking to somebody that does not relate to me at all. Whereas if they have invited their people, they're going to relate to them. And I think that if it's a slideshow that they can follow, you're automatically giving them that confidence, and it's a tool there for them to follow. I would love that. I would love to relaunch my business now with the launch party.
Well, that's what else we do every probably, I don't know, a couple months, we do a relaunch challenge for anyone that has never. And that's exactly was our step one. We got to get your people on a Zoom with us, like get them on there. But it just, again, like we know the stories are everything, but it's holding someone's attention. So ATM maybe sometimes, sometimes not, right? But this holds their attention for 30 minutes and they get to, and again, we make it like people like us after. They're like, okay, we're okay with you hanging out with that chick. She's okay now, right?
Right.
But it's, I don't know, it just seems to be, and also you guys, like think of your new marketers. It also gets them a more relationship with you, even just that, even if they get one freaking customer, they're likely to stick, right? So they're likely to buy in on everything else you're doing because you got that relationship in the beginning and now you've had a Zoom with them and this, and they're like, okay, this is, she cares about me,
Yeah.
not just, you know, pump them into the units. And when we were doing that, we weren't having conversion like at all. And again, I some teams can do it. I think some teams can do it, but I look at, and I think that if you're an experienced marketer, heck yeah, you can just go in, like I can do it. You guys can do it, but I'm not recruiting all of those people. I'm recruiting people who are brand new, they're moms. They need that coaching, they need that support. And then they're in your culture and your community and they're not going anywhere. Like I have people who will stay, like, no, like I have people just bronze every month and they're so freaking happy. They love our team. They're like, I love this. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's not even like bronze. Wait a minute. Right?
Like the $50 in free product credits, right? Like they're so stoked. And I love that you said that, Jen, because, you know, coming in, you know, a bunch of us came from other, actually, I think almost all of us came from other companies. Some of us didn't. But when we plug into the units, we're like, okay, this is easy. We got this. We'll just follow along. But can you imagine a brand new person that has never done anything like this before? And like how, right? Tiffany's there. Although Tiffany's been a total rock star and Stephanie, they're like, you guys are all rock stars. You wouldn't be here if you weren't, right? So I love that you've gotten here by using those systems.
Yeah.
But you know, what if it was this? What if this was the next level of onboarding somebody brand new? And we taught the duplication and the leadership and like taught those people, because people that first get in.
I got to mute 1 second. My kid.
Yeah.
What's that?
Go ahead. But you know, we're all coming in and we're talking to influencers. We're talking to our target demographic. We're looking at people that we want to work with, right? Those guys don't have any idea when they're first getting started, who to talk to, what to do, what to say, how to do it. And if we just have slides set up that they can simply go through and even duplicate that, and you know, maybe it's not this week that they do it, but they start doing it on their own, or you have to do a couple with them to bring in their new people. Like it makes sense to me that it's another way to onboard people and to give them a head start, especially if they've never done anything like this before.
And the happy hours are kind of your follow-up to that. So after you've done the launch, now they're kind of like, okay, so now all they have to do is just plug into happy hours, right? So once
the happy hours.
Yeah, and then they're always just able to get their people on something.
That is so, yeah. And again, like I think I said it in a training that I did for your team, but it's choose your own adventure. And that's what Eric Worre does teach with GoPro, is just keep inviting them to stuff until they say yes, keep inviting them to stuff. And so if you've got this, you've got Saturday calls, you've got water challenges or intermittent fasting challenges, you've got, you know, all of these other things going on, then you constantly have somewhere to plug your people into, and you don't have to wait.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? I love that.
100%.
Okay, we've been here an hour, so if there are no other questions, I'm going to let Jen go. I know we both have busy days, and thank you so much for your time today, Jen.
Welcome, guys. I
really
always
appreciate you sharing.
And no, I appreciate. She just did a training for my team, which was so fun too. So I love it. But yeah, you guys, I would just say, I think that the biggest reason for success for our team last year, because again, we went from 4 elites that were barely hitting it too. They weren't hitting it very consistently, and we got 12 new ones last year, which was. But we also basically doubled my team's size, but it was because the systems were there. So then when the craziness started happening, we were just plugging them in. And the more that you can organize that now, because things aren't slowing down anytime soon with Modere, and we're going to be, really, we probably just had the 2 quietest months, and it's just going to be hair straight back. So the more you guys can do it now together, and then duplicate it throughout your team, that is where you see the growth. And
it's time. It's time.
Yeah, it is.
All it is being patient with your business, and it's time. If you continue to do the same thing over and over again, right? Like Jen, how long have you been here?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. And so when you started probably popping elites in your second or third year.
Yeah. Well, again, the first, but remember that was just pure volume. We can pop it in November, but then they weren't holding it.
Right.
So big, no, it was the next year. I think they hit. Anyway, whatever, but they weren't holding it. Where now we have 12 holding, which is way different, but that is
different
systems.
Yeah.
And remember, duplication is the path to freedom.
Absolutely. And having everybody take their part, right? Many hands make light work.
And you guys have a strong leadership team. So, I mean, the sooner that you get it all dialed in for the way that works for you, and then you just start pushing it down and down, and everyone's going to be doing it. And then I got to tell you, then it's a beautiful thing. Like last night I did our Firestarters launch thing, and we had, because some of my elites are like, I'm doing my happy hour. I'm doing my happy hour. We had like 6 other happy hours at the same time, some launch parties, and I'm going live. And I just was like, oh,
it's all happening and everybody's doing their own thing. It's amazing.
So that's what you want. So yeah.
I love it. Well, Jen, I really appreciate you. I appreciate how open you are to sharing this stuff and to questions and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys need clarity, you can either come to me or go to Jen and ask for clarity, but I really appreciate you sharing with us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.